Pascal. You are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild, Haitian in the building, so original. Got the haters catching feelings. Get your hands up to the ceiling and keep them held high. Cause St. Louis isn't ready. Forget about it, goodbye. Hold up, we just saying hi. Five somebody, rise up. Weekdays, catch us live. Somebody, let's go.
Good evening. Good morning and good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Pascal Show. Woo, boy. Let me tell you something. I did not expect this on my bingo card at all this year or even today or even this year. I'm just going to be real. We got some breaking news for you guys, and this is insane. Another situation, and this does not look good for this particular person. This is bad. Let me just say that. This is not good at all. So, do me a favor before we get into everything, because, I'm going to tell you this. I had plans on giving you guys some updates on the jury selection with Diddy and all, and this came out. This broke just a little bit ago, so I could not cover this with you guys. And this is a very big deal. Clearly, we're still talking about things that are going on with Diddy. Don't worry, I'm going to try to find a way to squeeze that in somehow. I mean, there's a full-on war going on between India and Pakistan. There's all kinds of updates going on with Carmelo Anthony and the Austin Metcalf case, the Shiloh Hendricks stuff. There's so much news going on. I'm trying to keep up to date and keep up with all of it. Just ride with me, okay? So there's a few things I need you guys to do. First thing. Hit that like button down below on this video right here. That'd be greatly appreciated, okay? If you are watching on other platforms, make sure you hit that reaction button. If you're watching on Facebook, X/Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Rumble, make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you hit that reaction button. But if you are watching on those, make sure you hit that follow button over there. Make sure you subscribe here on my main channel. Go to my second channel, because I'm going to tell you right now, I know I keep interrupting the intro music and you guys are getting all into your feels. But let me just say this really quick. There is going to be a lot of information that's going to be on both channels because there's so much going on. There's so much news being newsing. So I'm just giving you guys that heads up as well. So make sure you are subscribed to the second channel as well. It's called The Pascal Show Clips. Make sure you're subscribed over there, because there's going to be a lot of things I'm talking about over there that I'm not talking about over here, and vice versa. All right? And make sure you hit that notification bell so you know whenever I go live, whenever I upload, because it is random. And there's a lot going on here, guys. There is a lot going on here. So make sure you are fully subscribed to both channels and that notification bell is set to all. Hit that join button down below. Become a member. Check out my Patreon. Check out my locals. And, of course, check out PascalMerch.com. Let me say that again. PascalMerch.com. We got some really great stuff. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself because there's so much going on today. It is insane. And I don't even know. The one thing I'm still trying to figure out is how I'm going to be able to do this when Diddy actually goes into trial, when the trial actually happens. Because right now, it's just the voir dire. It's the jury selection. Some people find it very interesting. Some people find it boring. But nonetheless, the real meat and potatoes, the real exciting stuff is going to happen starting this coming Monday. And we are going to be watching. We are going to be keeping a close watch on the whole thing as best as I can, okay? Because, again, there's so much going on. I don't even know how I'm going to be able to balance the news. If news like this keeps on coming out, I don't know how I'm going to be able to balance. This is going to be crazy. I'm going to have to figure something out. Because, like I said, the news does not stop or wait on no one, okay? But again, y'all are looking at this, and I'm thinking the same thing. I'm like, damn, they got Smokey too? Damn. Really? Smokey? Well, we got to look at this, and this is real. We got the documents too, and there was a press conference just about an hour ago. We got to take a look at that too. There's a lot that just happened revolving around Smokey Robinson. Smokey Robinson is being sued for SB and SA By the way, sorry, let me rewind. Let me repeat that again. Smokey Robinson and his wife are being sued for $50 million, guys, for SASB and then some. And these are all from former housekeepers, man. These people actually, these housekeepers know everything about these two, including what their dirty drawers smell like. Do you understand that? This is personal. Now, again, innocent until proven guilty in a court of law, blah, blah, blah. I have to say those things, all right? But that is important to remember. People can lie, but these are 4 former housekeepers stepping forward and suing them for SB and SA, y'all. Like I said, this isn't just some random girl or some sort of S worker that they flew in from another state to enjoy or to have some fun with. Oh, no. These are 4 people that were working in their homes and knew them intimately in that kind of way. Not intimately, well, clearly against their will intimately, but you know what I mean. Knew them intimately. They were invited into the Smokey Robinson home, cleaning their homes, knowing them at least in that way. And now Motown is on fire right now because of this. Who would have thought? Such a seemingly nice individual, right? And what we're going to hear in this lawsuit is insane. The things that are being said here are just disturbing, wrong, sad. Every word you can think of that where you just shake your damn head. So get ready. We're going to be looking at a lot of stuff here. Now, I'm just going to comb through this really quick, and then we got this press conference that we're going to look at, and then we're going to get into the actual paperwork. There's about, what is it? 27 pages. Well, really like 24 pages. More like 20 pages that we're going to go through as far as the factual allegations in regards to all 4 Jane Does, because each Jane Doe has their own story. Because remember, these are 4 housekeepers that worked inside Smokey Robinson's home. And they're alleging some terrible things, not only just by Smokey Robinson, but also by his wife as well. So let's take a look at this. This is absolutely nuts. And by the way, just a quick reminder, walking in and just going, Smokey Robinson's not happy about me talking about this, I guess. Hopefully the internet is okay. Hopefully the internet will correct itself here in a second. But yeah, I get it. There's a lot of people that are thrown off. But do me a favor, okay? Hit that like button down below, please, and thank you. All right, let's get it to 300 likes, okay? Because I know more you guys are going to be filing in. If you can get it to 300 likes, that would really mean a lot. A like don't cost a thing. It helps the show. It helps us grow and all that, okay? And of course, don't forget to subscribe. And if you've been enjoying my pop-up videos, I haven't been doing, it's been a while since I've done consistent pop-up videos, but get ready because there's going to be a lot of those coming, a lot, because there's so much news going on and can't cover everything in just one live show. All right, just so you guys know. But we will still be doing lives. It's just going to be when I get time. It just is what it is, busy times in my neck of the woods right now. So do me a favor. Again, hit that like button down below, hit that subscribe button, okay? And let's get into this. So he's being sued for SB by 4 former housekeepers. Smokey Robinson with his crazy eyes. Now, I'm not saying he has crazy eyes, but his eyes are so light. You know what I mean? He's so light and his eyes are so light, it throws me off every time. But anyway, Smokey Robinson. Didn't he make I I second that emotion. Right? Didn't he do that song? Because as soon as I heard his name and saw the article, instantly that song came out in my head. But anyway, he's got a lot of songs. Okay? Legend. A legend. This is so crazy. So he's being sued by 4 women who say they used to work for him, claiming he repeatedly SA'd and R'd them during their employment. The suit was filed in Los Angeles today by 4 Jane Does, claiming they used to work as housekeepers for the music star and his wife, Frances Gladney Robinson. Here they are together. And if you saw the thumbnail, that's also it too. Okay, this is crazy. The 4 accusers, who say they overlapped while working for Smokey and Frances, claim they were attacked multiple times, with the first alleged incident occurring in 2007. While there were a variety of allegations made against Smokey in the document, there's some consistency among the Jane Does, with all of them claiming Smokey would call them into his bedroom or other places while his wife was away from the house. These women alleged Smokey would then force himself upon them. I don't even know how to say this word. Doing what he's doing against their will with his fingers, putting his fingers down there. All right. Forcibly giving them brain. Okay. Or making them perform brain on him, and then R-ing them despite claiming they repeatedly told him no, according to the lawsuit. Ay, ay, ay. Yeah, because I can't say I can't say he, the he, you know what I mean? The tete-a-tete. I can't say the tet. All right. I can't even say that either. These algorithms and stuff, man. So yeah, brain. That's what we're calling it right now. Brain. So he would give them brain, and then he would force them to give him brain, and then he would attack them. R them. Okay? Man, this is insane. And he was doing this while his wife was away. This is what they're claiming. So there's consistencies allegedly in the lawsuit, in the documents. The women claim Smokey would sometimes lay down a towel before allegedly attacking them, okay, as to not make a mess of the bed linens. Oh, dear God. At least 2 of the victims claim he, came to conclusions inside of them without protection. So he was willing to risk it all. He was doing an Arnold Schwarzenegger. Moving on. They're suing Smokey for SBA, false imprisonment, and gender violence. And they're seeking at least $50 million in damages. Now, if you don't, sorry, just really quick. If you don't know what I'm talking about when I made the Arnold Schwarzenegger joke, he has an illegitimate child with his housekeeper. Arnold Schwarzenegger does. Look it up. Look it up. Look it up. Look it up. It's true. He risked it all. And now he has an illegitimate son. Yeah. Arnold Schwarzenegger. Yeah. You know what I mean? Moving on. Smokey's wife of 23 years is also included in the suit. Though the women are clear she never engaged in any of the alleged SA or alleged Rs. Instead, they're suing her because they say she knew about prior alleged sexual misconduct Smokey committed and did not prevent it from happening again. Sorry. Let me just be real, y'all. That's insane. Okay? Instead of her being part of the solution, by her sitting back, they're alleging, by her sitting back and not doing anything about it, she is now a part of the problem. That's why they said, hey, you're not trying to help us. You're not trying to stop the situation from happening. You're just letting it continue to happen. Now, if these allegations are 110% true, I know some people are going to ask, well, why wouldn't you leave? Why wouldn't you just quit the job? There's a lot of things to put in consideration when it comes to that situation. Sure, these individuals could have just packed up their stuff and said, peace out. That's possible. But then there's also the other side of maybe that's the only kind of work they could find. Best paycheck they ever got and all that. So there's a lot of things to consider. Or he could have threatened to make their lives threaten to make their lives miserable or anything of that sort, right? So anything's possible. But let's continue on. They also claim Frances, his wife, created a hostile work environment by using racially charged epithets, giving them arduous tasks, and depriving them of meal and rest breaks. What in the hell is this? That's insane. And then, of course, they reached out to Smokey and Frances. So far, no word back. Okay. Obviously, this is just the tip of the iceberg as far as the allegations and the lawsuit. We are going to be looking at the lawsuit here very shortly, but I do want to share with you guys the actual, there is a press conference that actually happened. And I think we should definitely take a look at this. This is insane. Okay. This is absolutely insane. And I don't know. And I don't know if these are the Jane Does here, because that's some ballsy stuff too, for them to just show up with their faces covered. Then they're not Jane Does anymore, but I don't know who these people are. You see these three women so far that we see here? These three women with with some N95 masks on. How do we know about that? Because of the pandemic. R.I.P. Rona. But we do know that covers a good portion of your face. Why would they be there? If this is them, why would they be here? But that's a question that still remains to be seen. Let's take a look at this, shall we? Because again, this is very bad for Smokey Robinson. Okay? If they actually showed up. Right? Yo, that's
good afternoon. Thank you for coming here today. My name is John Harris, and this is my partner, Herbert Hayden, with the firm of Harris and Hayden. 3 of our 4 clients are present here today. They've been identified as Jane Does.
Oh, what? Oh my God. Oh my God. They are there. They are there. I'm sorry. Hold on. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Can we? That was like 5 seconds into the thing. What? They are there on camera, guys. You don't think people are going back and going, oh, yeah, I know who she is? Somebody going, oh, I know exactly who that is. They're not worried about getting exposed? Aside from worrying about catching a cold because of the N95 masks. But still, they're there. I'm sorry. We got to roll that back. What'd he say? What did he say?
Harris and Hayden. 3 of our 4 clients are present here today. They've been identified as Jane Does. There's one appearing remotely who you can probably see on the screen.
Okay. I'm gonna let it cook. But damn. Yeah, they got fake wigs on. At least some of them do. Some got hats on. course, they're a little bit old. They're older women. And a lot of this happened in, you know, as one of them happened, or at least started as far back as 2007. But I don't think somebody, I mean, all I'm saying is, why did the lawyer ask why did the lawyer do that? I think that's a really dumb idea. If they're Jane Does, then let them be Jane Does and hide in silence and hide out and hide behind that pseudonym. Now you're putting their faces out here. It doesn't matter if you, I mean, you know, people are crazy out here. They're going to find a way to figure out who X, Y, and Z is. And you don't think that Smokey already knows who these girls are? These women are? I'm just saying, he's going to be like, oh, I know exactly. That's such and such, and that is such and such right there, and that's such. I know these girls. That's insane. Let me see if I could just reach out to them and see if we could just work something out. You see what I'm saying? But that's crazy, y'all. This is crazy. Okay, let's continue.
Also is Miss Guzman, who's interpreting for us today. This is to announce that earlier today in Los Angeles Superior Court, we filed a complaint against William Smokey Robinson Jr. and his spouse, Frances Robinson. The principal causes of action against Mr. Robinson in particular are sexual battery, assault, false imprisonment, gender violence, and creating a hostile work environment. Obviously, these ladies are identified in the lawsuit as Does, Jane Does 1 through 4, to protect their privacy, since the lawsuit involves sexual misconduct of the worst sort. We're seeking damages of $50 million. Obviously, no amount of money can compensate these women for what Mr. Robinson subjected them to. But given the gravity of Mr. Robinson's despicable and reprehensible misconduct that is further detailed in the complaint, this amount is clearly warranted. Our 4 clients have a common thread. They're Hispanic women who were employed as housekeepers by the Robinsons, earning below minimum wage. As low-wage workers in vulnerable positions, they lack the resources and options necessary to protect themselves from sexual assaults throughout their tenure as employees for the Robinsons. Let me briefly summarize each of their individual claims. I repeat, I will not describe the details of the sexual assaults and rapes because they're too graphic and disturbing for this news conference.
And I'm sure they're all going to be in the paperwork. So don't worry, we will be looking at the legal documents here in just a minute. Right after this press conference, we will be looking at it, okay? Do me a favor though, guys, all right? Hit that like button down below, okay? Hit that like button down below, please and thank you. All right, helps the show. Don't forget to subscribe. We got a lot to talk about, guys. We got a lot going on. We have a lot to talk about, my ladies and germs, my beautiful babies. Whew, man, this is the 2025, man. I'm telling you, Man, it'd be wildin'. Okay, let's go.
You can read them in the complaints that we have provided with many of you today. Let's talk about Jane Doe number 1. She worked for the Robinsons for a little over a year, from January 2023 to February 24. Mr. Robinson first sexually assaulted and raped her in March of 23, as detailed in the complaint. What he would do was summons her to his blue bedroom, which you'll probably be hearing about later on. After having just showered, he would come out of the adjoining bathroom naked and proceed to force her to have sex with him against her will. He sexually assaulted and raped her in this manner 7 times. She quit in February 2024 because she could no longer endure these sexual assaults. Jane Doe number 2. She worked for the Robinsons from May 2014 to February 2020. Smokey Robinson's modus operandi was somewhat different with her. He would ask her to meet him in areas in the home where there were no cameras. There were 2 such places or areas in their Chatsworth home, the garage and the laundry room. When she would meet him at this location, he would immediately begin to sexually assault and rape her, causing her excruciating pain. He sexually assaulted and raped her in this manner 23 times.
Jeez.
She was forced to resign because she too could no longer endure Mr. Robinson's sexual assaults. Jane Doe number 3. She worked for the Robinsons as a housekeeper from February 2012 to April 2024. Her story is quite similar to the others. Mr. Robinson would call her into his blue bedroom where he would sexually assault and rape her. This occurred approximately 20 times. And like the others, she quit in April of 2024 due to the repeated sexual assaults against her. Jane Doe number 4. She worked the longest as a housekeeper for the Robinsons from October 2006 to April 2024. He raped her in 3 of their homes, namely the Chatsworth home, the Las Vegas home, and the Bell Canyon homes. He had a preoccupation of fondling her breasts and touching her all over her body against her will. Man. She too quit in April of 2024.
Okay. So a lot of these people, a lot of these women did leave. A lot of these women did quit. That's what's up. Okay. Instead of just sticking around and going back and enduring what they endured.
The obvious question that one will ask, and I suspect most will.
Yeah, police reports.
Why didn't they report Robinson's criminal misconduct to law enforcement or go public before now? As I said before, these women were all low wage earners living from paycheck to paycheck. They all feared missing a payday and not being able to pay their rent or buy food for their families. Also, Smokey's Robinson celebrity status intimidated them and all made them feel powerless. I want to add that these 4 women were afraid of shame, familial humiliation, and embarrassment. The stigma that still exists in some cultures that unfortunately blames a rape victim for the assault perpetrated against them. And having to tell their husband and children of these despicable acts against them left them overwhelmed with shame and embarrassment. So throughout their dreadful experiences with Mr. Robinson, all four women remained silent because many of them worked at the same time. Too embarrassed to reveal their assaults by Mr. Robinson to each other. Once they broke their silence, an avalanche of emotions began to flow between them. Hence, they're all here today. These courageous four women have collectively decided to come forward and share their experiences of being sexually assaulted by Mr. Smokey Robinson and stand up for their rights, as well as the rights of other women. Particularly those that may be victimized by him in the future. We believe that Mr. Robinson is a serial and sick rapist that must be stopped.
Son of a, that's some crazy stuff. All of this is
We
crazy.
further believe that these four women's testimony as to Mr. Robinson's sexual assaults and battery against each of them will be unassailable and compelling. Our clients, these four courageous women, want and demand justice for themselves, and the filing of this lawsuit is the first step of their journey to achieve that objective. Thank you.
No questions?
Hello, my name is
Okay.
Herbert Hayden. I just want to echo some of the sentiments that you just heard from my partner, John Harris. We want to applaud our clients, these four women, for the courage that they've demonstrated since they've retained us as their attorneys to bring them justice, to bring to light what they have endured for countless years until they had decided that they'd had enough and left the employment of the Robinsons. So with that being said, at this point in time, I'd like to take your questions regarding the case. We'll go right here with the,
I just wonder, what brought these women together? Did they share their stories together? Because it sounds like some of the employment overlapped. Did they know what was going on with each of them? And did that then cause them to say, wait a minute, this isn't just happening to me, we can come together as a group?
I don't want to get too much into the particulars of the initiation of the lawsuit. Obviously, the women all worked together. Some of their shifts did overlap, and there was a common thread between them that led to the filing of the lawsuit today. For any further questions, I direct you to our email address, press@harrishayden.com.
Can you talk about Frances Robinson's role in the alleged misconduct, what she did and what she is accused of?
Well, I think that the complaint speaks for it in great detail. We believe she was aware of the misconduct by her husband, Smokey Robinson, and that she used their status as well as our clients' reliance on their living wage in order to keep them in check. And so we believe that, among other things, is what brings Ms. Robinson into the case.
Do you expect that they will be filing charges will they file complaints with the police as well so that they can investigate this as a criminal matter?
We have not been contacted by the district attorney's office yet. Obviously, we're more than happy to cooperate as best we can.
Does a police report though have to be filed by the women in order for the DA to then proceed?
Well, again, no police reports have been filed by our clients as of yet, given their fear of having done so.
But where do you stand on it? Do you want your clients to file a police report now that they've retained you?
I think that's something that we need to discuss with our clients before we cross that path.
Because based on the disturbing allegations, don't you feel like this is something that law enforcement should investigate?
Well, I do think
Good
so.
question.
Yes, I do.
Are you able to identify Django 1, 2, 3, and 4? Obviously not their names, but just who's who?
I'll let
No,
Mr. Harris.
we're not inclined to identify them as such and help in that regard. We want to maintain their privacy. And for that reason, we don't want to say who's 1, 2, and 3, and 4. You guys are good at what you do, and it wouldn't take long to figure it out.
Our purpose is to identify.
Okay, understood.
We respect
But we're going to keep them anonymous as possible to ensure their privacy.
You mentioned their status being used against them. Are the women undocumented, and were they specifically threatened with their legal status?
So that is not an allegation that we're making. We believe that the fact that these women are Hispanic, they come from cultures that sort of demonize the accusers of rape and sexual assault, that stigma was used against them by the Robinson. Obviously, the employer-employee relationship had a big factor in that as well.
But you won't comment on their immigration status?
Not at this time, no.
I do have a specific follow-up to that question. So in the complaint specifically, it says that one Jane Doe feared obviously losing their livelihood, familial reprisal, to also include the possible adverse effect on their immigration status. So you just said that you weren't claiming that. Can you clarify that?
Well, I think what we mean by that is that obviously within the Hispanic community, particularly in this climate, there is a fear of reprisal based upon any insinuation that there is an immigration issue. So I think that speaks for itself in their hesitancy in making that an issue in this case.
To come forward?
Correct.
Have you been able to obtain any photos or videos of any of these allegations taking place? I know that for one of the women, the allegations took place in 2 places you said where there weren't cameras, but it sounds like for some of the women took place in places where there are cameras, the blue bedroom.
We do have evidence, although we're not sharing it at this point.
Well, you just shared it.
We'll probably later in the proceedings, but we do have evidence of some of the misconduct.
Evidence of the misconduct, y'all. They have evidence of some of the misconduct. Sheesh.
former videotape.
I'm not going to comment, but we do have evidence.
Have you heard at all from Mr. Robinson himself? Has he responded to the complaint or any of the allegations?
No, we haven't.
Can you clarify the additional does, the 1 through 25, what that refers to?
That's just common practice. If more people come to light, it's just protecting the lawsuit in that regard. If we learn of other people that should be named.
I know that one of the women had worked as long as 2012. Do you believe this behavior has gone on since 2012, long before that? Or?
We have reason to believe that this behavior has existed for many years. And I think giving the allegations, we're fairly confident that he's a serial assaulter.
So they ever, or any of these women,
I'm sorry. I got to pause that really quick because he just said something that's really big. And you know what that is? That's a calling card. You know what that was? That was a calling card. Just in case you didn't know, that was a calling card. So get ready. There are going to be more. There will be more accusers coming out of the woodwork. Guarantee it. They've mentioned it multiple times. And now it'll be up for the people. Like literally he threw out the bait. You see what I'm saying? He said he's a serial. He is serial. Not he's a monster for what he's done. He said he has done this in the past. Yeah. Dog whistle. That's what I meant. Thank you so much. That's definitely dog whistling. Absolutely. Now, wait for it, because more will come out. Wait for it. Oh, it's going to be nasty. This could be another Cosby situation, or a Diddy. Could be a Diddy situation. But the fact that you have 4 housekeepers speaking out, unless they all corroborated this story together, which would make no sense. Why would they all 4 be so angry about not working there anymore that they would corroborate a story like this? All 4 of them. That would be insane. But then again, wilder things have happened. This is crazy. Let me continue on. There's a little bit left, and we're going to get into the paperwork, okay? Into the documents.
Allegedly.
Hit that like button down below.
Don't say anything or else. Were they threatened with physical harm?
Yeah.
They were threatened. I won't go into the details, but they were threatened in various methods by Mr. Robinson.
There's also the allegation that they weren't paid fairly or properly, correct?
That's correct.
Can you touch on that?
Well, for example, all of them, most of them, I would say, maybe not all of them, they worked 60 hours a week. They never got paid overtime. They were chastised by Miss Robinson if they tried to eat, if they tried to take breaks. And that's part of the allegation. Just the employer-employee relationship. They violated, we have alleged, numerous labor laws.
Mr. Hayden, were they essentially held prisoner in your view?
I don't want to say they were held prisoner, but I do think that they were beholden to the employer-employee relationship with the Robinsons, which left them in a conundrum of what they should do if they want to maintain their livelihood.
And I might add, one of the allegations is false imprisonment. When he was committing these acts, they did not feel free to leave.
And we had a hand on our camera. Could you restate what you're asking for in terms of monetary relief? What are you seeking?
Well, $50 million.
And how did you determine that amount?
It's just, we wanted to get his attention. It's a serious matter. And the assaults against these 4 women was horrendous and despicable. Hence, a big number.
And just to clarify, you're seeking $50 million total or?
Total, not each claim.
Which of the allegations are specifically against his wife? And his wife is named.
Yeah, well, all the labor code violations are against her. I'm sorry. All the labor code violations are against her as well.
I think the intentional infliction of
And the
emotional
intentional
distress,
infliction of emotional distress.
hostile work environment as well.
And what can you say about what ultimately made your clients decide to quit and their ability to quit? Was that something they got pushback? Was there ever an NDA involved in any of this work?
I'm unaware of an NDA. They just finally had enough. They couldn't take it anymore. And they just collectively decided to quit.
So are you claiming that Mrs. Robinson, his wife, knew about what was going on?
Well, we believe that there was some knowledge of prior misconduct of a sexual nature against other individuals against him. And we're alleging that she was aware of that and she took no preventive action.
Did any of them, as far as you know, come forward to his wife and say what was happening?
We understand that perhaps there were situations where they were resolved informally, that she knew or should have known of the allegations being made.
So I think with that, we're going to close the press conference now. Thank you.
Have mercy. Hold on. Let's see if they. 1, 2, which is hiding behind the podium. 3 is right over there. Or the 4th one's literally in the like doing it via Zoom. She's hiding behind the podium. She's wearing a full-on wig. Her hair is red. You can see it under the wig. Ay. Oh boy, oh boy. Well. Well. What say you guys on that? This is very interesting, guys. This is very interesting. Very, very interesting. I think that when it comes to this whole thing, obviously it's innocent until proven guilty. We do not know the full scope of everything. We're still trying to figure it all out. It's a lot to take in. You got 4 women that are speaking out that say that they were housekeepers in Smokey Robinson's home, and that they were clearly SA'd or SB'd or R'd by this man multiple times. Their lives were threatened. They probably were threatened to be deported. And the wife, Frances, allegedly didn't do anything to help them. She just let it just be whatever it was. They claim that she knew things and still did nothing, which is absolutely insane as well. But real quick, let me get these gifts here. So Tipsy, thank you so much for gifting 5 new memberships. Welcome to the family, all 5 of you guys. Welcome to the family. And do me a favor, though. She just gave you some positivity. All I ask for you to do is pay it back by paying it forward. That positivity, open the door for somebody, do something nice for somebody. Just be positive, okay? That'd be greatly appreciated. King Bob, what's up, man? Thank you so much. Thanks for the gifted membership. Tipsy, yes. Thank you so much to Tipsy for bringing in some new members into the family membership. And again, please consider hitting that join button down below and becoming a member. Don't forget to hit that like button down below. Crush it. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. There's a lot we are going to be talking about here, guys. So make sure you are subscribed and make sure you have that notification bell set to all. And also just periodically just check the page just to see if I have anything new, because honestly, I might some of these days I might go beyond the amount that YouTube allows, because there's just so much stuff going on. So I just want to let you guys know about that. Okay? So let's continue on here. I see you guys. I'm seeing it in the corner of my eye. Some of y'all think this is a money grab. Some of y'all think this is all fake. It's just a whole bunch of BS. I don't know. I can't sit there and say anything yet until we actually look into the actual paperwork and see what actually is being said here. Because sometimes if it's fake, you can see it written in black and white. We've read plenty of lawsuits of accusers, victims, whatever, that have written their stories, written their allegations that come out like, wow, that is beyond a whole other level wild, right? So I say we keep our minds open and we just check this out and see what happened here. All right, what they're accusing him of doing. But again, so you know, this could be a money grab or this could very well be real. So let's take a look at this. So factual allegations, because, you know, there's a bunch of other jargon, blah, blah, blah. Okay. And this is according to the first Jane Doe. So Jane Doe 1 realleges and incorporates by reference paragraphs 1 through 10 as though set forth herein in full. Okay, so Jane Doe 1 began working for defendants as their housekeeper at their Chatsworth residence on January 3rd, 2023. So recently, until February of 2024, when she was forced to resign due to defendant Smokey Robinson's repeated SA and SH against her. That's wild. And that was just recent. This is just most recent. The first encounter, the first SA occurred in March 2023. And it continued until her forced resignation in February of 2024. Jerry, you know what? I will do that. Let me just make that poll real quick. Okay. Hold on real quick. Let's see. Do you think this is a Smokey shakedown? Okay. I made it quick. All right. So it says, do you think this is a Smokey Robinson shakedown? Okay. Hell yeah or hell no. Go to the poll. Get your ass to the poll and let me know what your thoughts are. Okay. Let's continue. So the first SA occurred in March of 2023, and it continued until her forced resignation in February of 2024. Jane Doe 1 worked on the weekends for the defendants when the rest of the staff was off. On a typical Saturday, defendant Smokey would take defendant, his wife, to the nail salon and would rush home, knowing he would be alone with plaintiff Jane Doe 1. Upon returning home, Smokey Robinson would call her into his blue bedroom, lock the door, and escort their dog Shiloh out of the room. Interesting. He will have showered and clothed only in his underwear. He would then neatly place a white towel on his bed, not to soil the bed linens, in preparation for what was about to occur. Smokey would then begin to kiss Jane Doe 1 in her mouth, neck, and chest area. Then he would roughly use his fingers down below the belt. Then he would perform oral, okay, and then proceed to penetrate her with his member, okay, his weed whacker, causing her great pain. Smokey enjoyed finishing inside of her without using a condom. Like I said, allegedly willing to risk it all. Jane Doe 1 would protest. And by the way, when they say, oh, we got proof, we got evidence, anything that has anything to do with panties, underwear, etc., that may have been, you know what I mean? Because some of his remnants could still be on those panties. That could be it too. Like, this could be very, very bad for him. Jane Doe 1 would protest and resist his SAs, his attacks, but to no avail. In a desperate attempt to get him to stop his SAs, his attacks, she would proclaim, "You're married," to which he would casually ignore. Smokey SA Jane Doe in that manner, at least 7 times. The last attack occurred on February 17th, 2024, prompting her forced resignation on the 24th of February, 2024. By the way, February 2024 was not long ago, right? So again, pretty wild that this is all happening, that this happened, these allegations happened within the last year. Jane Doe 1 was unwilling to report Smokey's unlawful acts to the authorities due to fear of her losing her livelihood, familial reprisal, public embarrassment, shame, and humiliation to her and her family, the possible adverse effect on her immigration status. That's also a big thing. As well as being threatened and intimidated by Smokey's well-recognized celebrity status and his influential friends and associates. Interesting. Defendant, his wife, Frances, failed to take the appropriate corrective action to prevent Smokey's deviant misconduct against Jane Doe 1. Despite having full knowledge of his prior acts of actual misconduct, having settled cases with other women. Ooh, that's important too. Having settled cases with other women that suffered an experience similar SA perpetrated by him. Francis also perpetuated, a hostile work environment by regularly, I can't speak today, guys, sorry, screaming at Jane Doe 1 in a hostile manner, using ethnically pejorative words and language. So she was just slinging out racial slurs and all that towards the woman, screaming at her and everything. That's insane. During Jane Doe's 1's employment with the defendants, she worked 10 hours per day, 3 days per week, Monday through Saturday through Monday, at the rate of $18 an hour. They failed to pay minimum wage or pay overtime wages for the hours worked in excess of 8 hours, nor provided rest or lunch breaks. She would often work holidays for the defendants without being paid the holiday rate. Defendants also failed to provide Jane Doe 1 wage statements for the hours worked. This is bad. Jane Doe 2. Plaintiff Jane Doe 2 realleges and it incorporates by reference paragraphs 1 through 9 as though set forth herein in full. So, Jane Doe 2 began working for the defendants as a housekeeper at their Chatsworth residence in or about May 2014 until February of 2020, when she was forced to resign due to Smokey Robinson's repeated SA and SH against her. Smokey Robinson's brutal S advances were constant and even predictable through her employment with defendants. Smokey Robinson's SAs began in the latter part of 2016 when they were home alone. He would text message her, asking her to meet him at the areas in their Chatsworth residence where closet circuit cameras weren't located. He would then summon her to either the laundry room or garage where there were no cameras. When arriving, he would immediately grab her and begin to use his fingers down there, causing her excruciating pain, and then he would proceed to R her. Smokey Robinson also forced her into his blue bedroom and make her perform top, let's just say that too, on him. Thereafter, he would proceed to forcibly use his member, on her without using a condom. He would enjoy doing, whoa. Okay. He enjoyed finishing on her face. Ay. Wow. Much to his satisfaction and her abject humiliation. I didn't expect that to go that way. All right. So Smokey Robinson SA'd her in this manner for at least 23 different, at least 23 different occasions. Smokey Robinson would threaten her that if she refused to have relations with him, he would make his wife be mean to her, which she was very capable of being. Jane Doe 2 was unwilling to report his unlawful acts to the authorities due to fear of losing her livelihood, familial reprisal, public embarrassment, shame, and humiliation to her and her family, the possible adverse effect on her immigration status, as well as being threatened and intimidated by Smokey's well-recognized celebrity status and his influential friends and associates. So Francis also in this situation failed to take the appropriate corrective action to prevent Smokey's deviant misconduct against Jane Doe 2, despite having full knowledge of his prior acts of sexual misconduct, having settled cases with other women that suffered and experienced similar SA perpetuated by him. Francis also perpetuated a hostile work environment by regularly screaming at Jane Doe in a hostile manner, using ethnically pejorative words and language. So it's the same thing again. So again, this is when I go, wait a second, how much of this is, I mean, I hope this is 100% true, but it seems like they're just copying and pasting a few things. And the only difference that's going on is the acts that he's done with Jane Doe 1. You see what I'm saying? And now you're hearing, oh yeah, she would yell at them, yell at her, yell at this Jane Doe 2 in that same way, in a hostile manner, using ethnically pejorative words and language. Can you give us more information? Because that seems a little bit weird. Shouldn't each one be a little bit, like, a lot more intricate and different than the previous Jane Doe, right? But at the same time, maybe they are telling the truth. Maybe he really has done these terrible things. I don't know. But at the same time, it does give me great pause, right? It does make me go, wait a second, hold on. That seems interesting. It's the same thing, but we'll see what happens. Because it's not the same thing, right? The Blue Room seems so far a very popular place. Swear to God, that's going to be the book of one of these ladies' memoirs, In the Blue Room. You know what I mean? But we'll see. We'll see what happens here. Interesting. And there's a possibility that corroborated this story because they feel some type of way about being fired from Smokey Robinson's place. That's possible too. But like I said, anything's possible here. So going on, during Jane Doe 2's employment with the Robinsons, she worked 12 hours per day, 6 days a week, Monday through Saturday, at the rate of $10 per hour. It increased to $12 in 2017. Oh my God. They failed to pay minimum or overtime wages for the hours worked, including those in excess of 8 hours, nor provided rest or lunch breaks. She would often work holidays for the defendants without being paid the holiday rate. Defendants also failed to provide Jane Doe 2 wage statements for the hours worked. This is very interesting, guys. This is very interesting. Jane Doe 3, plaintiff 3, which we already know. Here we go. So Jane Doe 3 began working for the defendants as a housekeeper at their Chatsworth residence in about February of 2012 until April of 2024. This is a very long time. So she was there for 12 whole years. Wow. When she was forced to resign due to defendant Smokey Robinson's repeated SAs and SH against her. So he repeatedly SH'd, SA'd, and R'd Jane Doe 3 during most of her entire employment with defendants. Smokey Robinson would force her into his blue bedroom, where after he would perform his ritual of exiting his bathroom nude or wearing only underwear after showering, and then carefully placing a towel on the bed not to soil the linens for what was about to occur. He would then disrobe Jane Doe 3 and then perform top on her. Then he would force her to lie face down on the towel so that he could R her from the rear. Okay? So he repeatedly did this manner for at least 20 times. On one occasion, when Jane Doe 3 resisted his advances, Smokey Robinson offered Jane Doe 3 $500 to allow him to perform top on her, an offer she, of course, refused. When not attempting to penetrate her, Smokey Robinson would make unwanted advances against her, touching her chest, downstairs, and kissing her on her neck and on her mouth. Jane Doe 3 resigned her position with defendants on April 22nd, 2024, due to Smokey Robinson's continued SA and hostile work environment she experienced daily. She was unwilling to report the unlawful acts to the authorities because of the same stuff. Okay, public embarrassment, familial reprisal, losing her livelihood, the possible adverse effect of her immigration status, and all that. Here's again, Francis, his wife, failed to take the appropriate corrective action to prevent Smokey Robinson's deviant misconduct against Jane Doe 3, despite having full knowledge of his prior acts of misconduct, having settled cases with other women that suffered and experienced similar SA perpetrated by him. Francis also perpetrated a hostile work environment by regularly screaming at Jane Doe 3 too, in a hostile manner, using ethnically pejorative words and language. Her Jane Doe 3's during Jane Doe 3's employment with the defendants, she worked 10 hours per day, 6 days per week, Monday through Saturday, at a rate of $18 per hour. They failed to pay minimum or overtime wages for the hours that she worked, including those in excess of 8 hours, nor provided rest or lunch breaks. She would often work Sundays and holidays for the defendants without being paid overtime or the holiday rate. Defendants also failed to provide Jane Doe 3 wage statements for the hours worked. Have mercy. This is incredibly crazy. Okay? This is crazy. But you see there's a pattern. And it could be them just like copying and pasting in a way, but that just makes it look a little weird, right? That makes it a little bit, questionable, if that makes any sense. But let's continue on. We are on the final one, Jane Doe 4. So she began working for the defendants as a housekeeper at the same residence, including being Francis' personal assistant, cook, and hairdresser in or about October 2006 until April 22nd of 2024. So all of this is going to, I'm sorry for saying this, and this is where I think a lot of them are going to be wondering what's up. And maybe this is one of the things that makes people's eyebrows raise. But from what we're gathering right now, all of them have overlapped each other. All of them, all of these housekeepers have overlapped each other in some way, shape, or form. Remember, this particular Jane Doe 4 was a hairdresser, personal assistant, and cook to the Robinson family, and was a hairdresser for Miss Francis, his wife, from October 2006 until April of 2024, y'all. That's a long time. And all these other women have gone through and worked through during that time as well. Hold on, we're going to come back to this. Look, this one, she was there from February of 2012 to 2024. Jane Doe 2, let's see. They were there from May 2014 to February of 2020. And Jane Doe 1, she was there just like basically last year. All right. Where is it? January 2023 until February of 2024. So again, all of these women, all of these housekeepers, they all cross paths together at some point. Some were OGs, like it sounds like the Jane Doe 4 is the ultimate OG because she was there the longest. She was there for 18 years, y'all. October 2006 till about April of 2024. She was there the longest, but they all interwove with each other. They all ran into each other at some point. So some people could look at that and go, wait a second. Wait a second. They had to have known each other in some sort of way. But let's continue on. That's interesting. That's just, it's just an observation. You know what I mean? Let's get into this. So she went from, being a personal assistant, cook, and hairdresser in or about 2006 of October until April 22nd, 2024. So last April, when she was forced to resign due to Smokey Robinson's repeated attacks, which we all know. He first attacked her in 2007 when she accompanied him to his Las Vegas home. While there and alone with him, Smokey Robinson forced her into his bedroom and AR'd her. The essays continued there and other places. In or about mid-2019, Jane Doe 4 was asked by Smokey Robinson to accompany him to his temporary residence located in Bell Canyon to clean. While cleaning the master bedroom, Smokey Robinson showered and returned to his bedroom naked and was aroused. He then proceeded to pull back the sheets and carefully place a pillow down. I'm sorry, not a pillow, a towel down, not to soil the bed linens for what was about to occur. He then began to kiss her everywhere. And then he went down there and then he AR'd her. Smokey Robinson would often create a situation or seize the opportunity where he would be alone with Jane Doe 4 at their Chatsworth residence. When the other housekeepers would leave the residence, Smokey would summon her to his blue bedroom while sitting in his birthday suit on his bed. He would then lock the door and place a towel on the bed. After doing so, he would pull her clothes off and, against her protestations, push her down on the bed and proceed to R her. Smokey would never use a prophylactic during these SAs, and of course, finishing inside of her or withdrawing and finishing all over her body, much to his satisfaction and her abject humiliation. Smokey Robinson would also constantly admire and touch her chest, kiss her neck, and force his tongue into her mouth. His SH and A's continued to the very day she decided to resign her employment with the defendants. Jane Doe 4 was unwilling to report these, of course, because of the same things that she said, that all of them have said, scared of being, the intimidation, scared of the shame and humiliation, the scared of getting in trouble. This one doesn't say anything about, this one does not say anything about her fear of maybe getting deported, but that's very interesting as well. Francis failed to take any appropriate corrective action to prevent Smokey Robinson's deviant misconduct against Jane Doe 4, despite having full knowledge of his prior acts of misconduct, which we've already heard the other three Jane Doe say before. Francis also perpetuated a hostile work environment by regularly screaming at Jane Doe 4 in a hostile manner, using ethnically pejorative words and language. We've heard this part before too. Jane Doe 4's employment with the defendants, she worked 10 hours per day, 6 days a week, Monday through Saturday, at the rate of $15 an hour, raised to $20 per hour in 2018. They failed to pay minimum or overtime wages for the hours worked, including those in excess of 8 hours, nor provided rest or lunch breaks. Jane Doe 4 would also regularly travel with the defendants, but was never compensated for her time doing so. Defendants also failed to provide Jane Doe 4 wage statements for the hours worked. So, those are all the accusations that are in this document. Now, again, I am quite curious about this. I can't sit here and say, like, all I can say is, here's the information. Obviously, more will come out. I'm assuming as time goes on, but I am side-eyeing it like crazy. Not saying that it's not possible, but I also believe that because we live in this world now where we always have to ask the questions, which is unfortunate, but when it comes to this, it is interesting that all 4 women worked around the same time with each other. They all crossed each other's paths at some point, and they were all subjected to this type of monstrous activity, monstrous attacks. Now, let me just say this. Just because I am asking questions does not mean that what these women went through isn't true. There's still a good possibility that these things are true. He believes if this is a situation where Smokey Robinson thinks that he is untouchable and he is that his fame and power is supersedes him and it makes him untouchable, then there's a possibility that he could use that ego or that kind of thought or power for bad. Look at what we're looking at with Diddy. Look at what we're looking at with even Shannon Sharp. There's a lot that's going on that is bad. And these allegations are very bad. And once you hear and see a pattern, yes, instantly I start going, wait a second, I see a pattern. That's weird because it makes it seem like they're corroborating a story, that they're all coming together and making the story up together. But there's a possibility that this is his pattern, that he will put a towel on the bed before he does any type of SA or R, right? But again, we'll see what happens as time goes on. I mean, they still need to do their due diligence, look into this, but it is interesting that all of these women were there for a fairly long time. The shortest was a year, and that's Jane Doe 1. But they've all been there for a long time. So I know instantly people will be asking, why didn't they just leave? Why didn't they just, quit the job? Maybe they just thought that they couldn't find a better job out there. Maybe they thought that this is as good as it gets. I don't know. I'm not them. I can't answer that question for y'all. But nonetheless, this is very, very interesting. Let me get the super chat. My miracle mama, what's up? Is it just me? Why is it always black men getting shook down? Not saying I don't believe this. It just seems skewed. Yeah, this does seem a little bit weird. It does. It does. And yeah, lately, a lot of black celebrities are going down. Okay. We're just sitting there on the sidelines, just watching these things just go down in a very technicolor, fiery fireball. And I don't know. I don't know what's going on. It's insane. It's weird. It's weird. But you never know. These allegations could very well be 110% true. They really could. Because again, even serial monsters of other types, the serial unalivers and they all have a pattern for the most part. They all have a way of doing certain things. So again, maybe there's a possibility And it was wild for me to even say. Like I said, I never thought I'd ever have Smokey Robinson on a docket of any kind. But Smokey Robinson could very well have a pattern. He could very well have a ritual of doing certain things. Things like that. SAing somebody. But it has to be done precisely like this. It can't be done any other way. It's got to be done this way. I got to be clean. I got to be fresh out of the shower. I got to have the towel on the bed. And then the procedure seems to be almost the same procedure. The way he, like, I hate to say foreplay, but you know what I'm saying. The acts before the actual act. Okay. This seems like the same thing, right? He uses his hands, then he uses his mouth, and then he goes and he uses his, thazang. Okay. So again, all of them have been basically saying the same doggone thing. So it shows not only just a pattern, but a possible ritual, almost ritualistic type of procedure before he does said thing. So again, that is very interesting. Also, the fact that he's always wanting to do it in the blue bedroom. And it does make you wonder, why the blue bedroom of all places? So I don't know, but that is some wild stuff. Like I said, we're just talking about possibilities. But for me, my mind is just blown. I did not expect, honest to God, did not expect to have any kind of conversation like this at all about Smokey Robinson. Hell no. Okay. I just want to enjoy tracks of my tears and enjoy the other music that he's made. And now, have mercy. This is going to be interesting. But also, I will say this too. It is interesting that they had the press conference and all of them showed up. All of the Jane Does. Which, by the way, these women know him and his wife intimately. And I don't mean because of what he's being alleged of doing. I'm talking about they're cleaning that family's dirty drawers. They're washing their toilet bowls. They're doing all that stuff. They're taking care of all of those things. Anytime that there's a family event, those ladies, I'm sure, are there to either help cook or help serve the families when the families show up. These women know this Smokey Robinson family very, very intimately. And the fact that they showed up to this press conference, you don't think he's looking at that press conference and going, oh, that's such and such, and that's such and such, and that's such and such and such and such. I know all these women. Let's reach out. Let's you know what I mean? Unless they wanted their presence known so that they can maybe expedite to a settlement faster. Maybe if they thought, hey, show up and hopefully this will get him to get his lawyers on the phone to call us so we can make a settlement happen as soon as possible. That's possible too. But I don't know what kind of lawyers these guys are. I don't know if they're like Tony Busby-esque, sorry, or if there are, not Tony Busby-esque, if you feels me. Okay. And yeah, Captain Lurk, Cat Williams was not lying. He was not lying. It's all bubbling up. It's all coming out, and it's throwing everybody. It's throwing me for a loop. I am just shooketh. But we will see. We will see what happens here. To me, this is some very interesting allegations. And these are bad allegations. And I also will say, like you guys said earlier, dog whistle. It's like a dog. It was like the lawyer was definitely dog whistling for show. Definitely. He has a pattern of doing this, guys. He's done this in the past, guys. He's saying that because he's trying to get everybody else out there to be like, ooh, I need to call him. Because I'm a victim too. You know what I'm saying? And hopefully the people that he has called out, because he put up this bat signal. You know what I'm saying? He put out the bat signal. So it's out there. So maybe if there are other people that are going to step forward, and there possibly will be, hopefully they're telling the truth. And hopefully they're not just making it up so that they can get a quick bag on a man who's in his 80s. Hold on. 85 years old, y'all. February 19th. He was born on February 19th, 1940. Hey, I'm big. The man be old. Okay? Dude is dust at this point. Okay? Him old. This is not going to be good for his health either. I mean, he is 85. He old, y'all. So, and they're saying that he was doing this stuff as recently as 2024, by the way. Sorry, 2023. It seems like it's the most recent. So he was what? 83 when that happened? Shoot. He must be one strong man at 83 years old. But like I said, anything's possible. So let me see what the poll says here. Let's end this poll. Thank you so much for voting, everybody. Let's see what it says. Come on. Where is it at? Okay. So out of 251 votes, I said, do you think this is a Smokey Robinson shakedown? 54% of y'all said yes. Wow. That is crazy. But again, we will find out here soon enough. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people I think are calling BS, but we'll see. We'll see. Why wouldn't they? See, that's the thing. If you're willing to go on camera, listen. Okay, let me just say this, and I'm not trying to victim shame. I promise you, I'm not. I'm just talking about the way it looks to the court of public opinion. Okay, so I just preface that before everybody's like, "Oh, you're victim. How dare you?" Me. Hold on. If you're going to go on camera, you might as well just be on camera. You see what I'm saying? You are either on camera, sans wig, glasses, and the freaking mask, taking all that stuff off and let people see your doggone face. Because you know for a fact everyone now is doing their research. The crazies are trying to find out exactly who you are. And they will find out who you are. Trust me. The reporters and all that have time, they will find you and they will tell everybody about your life. So if you're going to do that, you might as well just show up with your face. Or don't go on camera. Let your lawyer do the talking for you and hide behind that Jane Doe name. That's why the Jane Doe name exists. So you don't have to be out there. But now that you've shown yourself, they're going to do their research, y'all. So the thing that they're trying to avoid, which is ridicule and humiliation and all that stuff, it might be coming to them anyway. It's weird. That's weird to me. Show up, with the wig on and the N95 masks and the shades, thinking that that's going to protect you. It's not going to protect you. The pseudonym was to protect you. That Jane Doe name was to protect you. Once your body is on camera, somebody knows somebody that knows somebody that knows you. And now you're screwed. I'm just saying, that's the truth, though. And like I said, I'm not trying to say anything bad about them. If this is what happened to him, this is terrible. And if he really did what he did, may justice come down on him like 1,000, I don't know. What's the phrase? I don't know. Like 1,000 thunderbolts. I don't know. Okay. But like I said, it's just weird that they would show up and not say, hide behind the Jane Doe name, but still be on the thing. Like, that just doesn't make sense to me, guys. I'm sorry. That's just all it is. So some people are going to look at that and go, why did you show? Man, this is a shakedown. That's what they're going to think. And that's unfortunate. That's unfortunate because they could very well be telling the truth. We will find out, guys. We will definitely find out. But anyway, guys, that's the show. I appreciate all y'all for being here. It really means a lot. We got a lot to talk about. There's a lot going on. Yes, Debbie. Let the truth come to light, and I hope it will. You know, and this lawsuit may be just a flash in the pan. You never know, y'all. This may be a complete flash in the pan. This may be completely fake, and then it gets thrown off to the side, and no one talks about it ever again. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. The truth shall come to light for sure. All right. But please do me a favor before we head out. Hit that like button down below. Crush it. Do what it do. Crush it. Hit that reaction button if you're watching on other platforms. If you are watching on those other platforms, make sure you hit that follow button, please. And thank you. Subscribe here on my main channel. Keep subscribing if you can. Go to my second channel, The Pascal Show Clips. Subscribe over there. Make sure you have the notification bell set to all on both channels so you know whenever I go live, whenever I upload. And then, like I said, there's a lot going on. There's a lot of updates going on. So there might be more content than what you get as far as notifications. So just keep checking this page. Okay? Hit that join button down below, please and thank you. Check out my Patreon, check out my locals, and of course, check out PascalMerch.com. Like I said, we got some really great stuff over there. PascalMerch.com. Go check it out. Anyway, guys, appreciate all y'all for being here. It really means a lot. We'll be talking here soon. Much love to you. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. This is The Pascal Show. Bye.